Hey, welcome back to the Branch 458 podcast. I'm Casey Ritchie, and I've got
Eric Robinson.
he's with me. We're both going to do this episode over getting back to the basics, kind of just cover how to maintain routes, whether you're a CCA on a hold down or maybe you're a newly converted regular, T6 or regular on a route, how to kind of maintain those routes on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to cover that. First, I'd like to discuss just a little bit what's going on um, recently. I know I've been doing the NERP trainings district wide. So it is the 29th. We're recording this. So there's only a couple days left in July. It's a requirement for all union stewards and management to be trained on this process, the new employee experience retention and mentoring process by the end of July. So if by the time you're listening to this, you have not been trained on it yet, you're probably in some trouble. so um, you may have a day left to get trained on it, but if not, maybe the joint retention teams will catch up to you. So that's kind of what's been going on here. I think it's going to be a great process. I know Oklahoma City, Branch 458, we were part of the mentoring pilot program. I know Eric was involved in that. I was involved in that, and it was very successful. Eric, do you want to say anything about mentors?
Oh yeah, we were one of the cities that were picked for the test for the mentoring part of that. It went on for about 2 years or so, and at my station, it was highly successful. We went from about a 40% attrition rate on the CCAs, and it jumped up to a 90% attrition rate on CCAs. Um, it doesn't fix everything. Uh, they're still, not having their own route. They're still bottom of the pay scale. Their feet are going to be sore. A lot of these things that CCA struggle with, but just having the extra, support and kind of this new framework built around them, at least at my station, really made a difference with quite a few of them. You know, a lot of times, Casey, during probation, if management wants to cut a CCA loose, we can talk to management. We can try to negotiate with them informally. But like, hey, let's give this guy another chance, or let's see what's going on. But at the end of the day, if they just want to cut him loose, we can't grieve that. And so, with that being a fact, when we started that mentoring at my station in the first 9 months, there were four of the CCAs that by day 60, management told me they were going to cut them loose. And I was able to successfully, through this mentorship program, kind of turn them around on all four of them in the last 30 days. And so, anybody that's listening to this that's going to be a mentor, you have a lot of power with that. You're going to have a lot of um, Oh,
Influence.
yeah, a lot of influence. You're going to get to make a difference in some people's lives where before, you wouldn't have had that opportunity, and a number of these people would just be cut loose.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it, and I had
Yeah.
my training from the that you're mentioning, so my station got done.
Yeah. I know Branch 458, as of today, we are 100%. There's one carrier that's out long-term leave, so but aside from that, everyone that's at work received the training. So very good there. I know just to emphasize what Eric said, it being a mentor is something that I enjoyed doing. I was an OJI. I was a trainer, so being a mentor and a union steward, I mean, it's a lot, but at the same time, it's pretty rewarding to see those new employees coming to you because they know that you have the answers and that you're going to have their back. So uh, mentors in the workplace are very important and definitely support it. So if you or someone you know would be a good mentor or you're interested in becoming a mentor, you would submit your name to your branch president, and then they will submit your name to the NBA Danvers Sluice. He will get with the district manager, and the two of them will jointly select names. So hopefully, everybody that wants to be a mentor will be selected. It's a joint selection, so we're kind of hoping that the DM agrees on that. But any more on mentors? You
I mean, I guess we pretty much said it all. Just I found it very satisfying to get to help some of these newbies out. So
yeah. So you've started something new, and maybe a few of you guys listening have heard a few different episodes on this. Do you want to talk about your new uh, what do you got? Your new training that we're doing?
Yeah, so basically what we're doing is we're taking the greatest NALC podcast ever and we're taking it up to another level. And yes, I'm referencing our podcast that Casey runs is the greatest one ever. Anyway, um, what we're doing is you'll see on there on some of the episodes descriptions, it'll be labeled Anatomy of a Grievance, Episode 1, Anatomy of a Grievance, Episode 2, so on and so forth. And what it is it's training for stewards that are either newer, alternate stewards that may not have a lot of experience, anyone that maybe lacks confidence or just kind of wants to work on their fundamentals, knowledge base. That was kind of what inspired the idea to do this. So once a month on the fourth Tuesday, and then normally within a day or two after that, Casey has it thrown up as an episode here on the uh, Branch 458 podcast. I'm doing a Zoom for about an hour or so with people from my branch, and I'm just going over different information that's helpful. But I'm kind of walking through from like the beginning of a grievance. Like episode one was titled the investigative interview. And so we kind of went over an hour, a bunch of little kind of details that maybe new people didn't know about, or little tips and tricks to help you navigate the investigative interview, to get information on the record that you're going to need in case there's a grievance, which a lot of times there is a grievance after an II. So that was the first episode. Second episode was about it was titled The Information Request and Work in the Grievance. And so that was last month. We went into a bunch of detail well, I say last month. It was only just like a week or so ago, but
Yeah.
it's been busy around here at 458. Um, but yeah, the information request, working the grievance, spent an hour on that. I briefly talked about Article 16 and the just cause principles, which are absolutely part of working a discipline grievance. You're looking at the letter of discipline and then you're comparing it to these. Is there a rule? I'm going through those, but I didn't really go into depth. That's going to be the third episode, is about Article 16 and the just cause principles. So for anybody that's listening to this, the fourth Tuesday of August, and then a day or two after that, there'll be a new episode up um,
Yeah.
covering the just cause principles. So I don't know how many there's going to be. We're just going to kind of do it. Uh, the next step after that will probably be something along the lines of a meeting at Informal A, what they do, all that kind of stuff. Maybe the episode after that will be, how you send it up to Formal A, kind of what you do after that. I know I was thinking about going through one time on the what's it called? Defenses to Discipline. I want to spend one episode on the NALC Stewards Guide. So there's a lot of content we're going to get to over the coming months. But Casey kind of wanted me to give that a little shout out and a little explanation about what it is, why you're seeing those episodes on there. And so even if you're a seasoned steward or whatnot, feel free to listen to that, and hopefully you can glean a couple nuggets of
Yeah.
information that are helpful.
Yeah. It's always good to get back to the basics. See what I did there? Kind of a segue into what we're talking about.
Uh,
So, we received a suggestion on a topic for an episode, and we love receiving those suggestions, and it's a great idea. So we're just going to talk about it. We kind of have an outline, but we're just going to chat about it. It's how to maintain a route, kind of back to the basics. So we have the M41 open. That's the letter carrier handbook. Every single route should have one at their case. If you don't, get one from management and put it at your case. It's in your route book, that black book that's directly in front of you on your case. And that's where a lot of this information is going to come from. Uh, so, kind of where we'll start, I guess, is in the office. That's where we all start every day. And kind of my thought is whether you're a T6, a newly converted regular, or you're a CCA with a hold down on a route, how do you maintain that? Um, and I know one of the most frustrating things, as a regular, is coming back from your day off or a vacation or something, and you're like, well, no one maintained my route. And I think that's kind of where this suggestion stemmed from.
I've never said that
Uh,
before.
yeah. None of us regulars have. And so, so where do we start? I wrote down some notes. The M41 talks about office duties in section 121, and then also chapter 2 is about office time in your M41. And it talks about several things. And just off the top of my head, some things that you might do in the office to maintain your route. One of the biggest things I think of is change of addresses.
Yes.
The pink cards, the 3982s that are there at your case, they should be to the far left on your case. There's a slot for it in your in each shelf, and kind of how I do it and how I was trained to do it is the pink cards that are on that shelf correlate with the addresses that are on that shelf. So if you have, let's say you have Main Street on your first shelf and First Street, and then your second shelf goes into Second Street. I'm going to have Main Street and First Street on my first shelf, and then Second Street would be on the second shelf,
Yeah,
and
on the
so
pink
on.
card, all the way to the left.
Yeah, on your pink card,
And
and
it corresponds to each shelf.
yeah, and I label them at the top. I'll write the street at the very top of the pink card, so I know, and it's easy to look at. Now, we get those stickers to put on those. You should get those regularly as they're processed. I know some clerks and supervisors get behind on those, but process those as soon as you get them
Why?
because you don't want them to pile up. For one, we're talking about maintaining our route, but for two, you want to maintain that service. So I know me, I've moved recently, and I put in a forward. I certainly would not want my carrier to just throw that sticker off to the side and not pay it any attention. You want to process that as soon as you get it, look at it, kind of make a note of it. Some people put in alert cards in their case and they case them up so that whenever they get to that address, they know that there's a forward. So Casey Ritchie has a forward, either an individual forward or a family forward. And I have a note of it so that I know as that carrier that I need to forward Casey Ritchie's mail. So it's very important to do those as you get them.
Well, it helps twofold. One, having that alert card, like you're saying, that's going to help your T6 out, your floater, so that on your non-scheduled day or on weeks when you're on leave and they come to do your route, you've already got alert cards and a lot of times already cased in for certain addresses that have those forwards already done.
Yeah.
So it's going to help them out so that that forwarding service is provided properly even when you're not at work. Two, having those labels on that pink card weeks or months down the road, let's say your alert card gets lost or it gets thrown away by mistake, or maybe after so many months, you've got it committed to memory, your T6 knows about it, and so you go ahead and throw the alert card away. If you ever need to go back and reference which forwards are going on that shelf, you have them all laid out in order, in sequential order. Is it sequential order? According to the date,
Yeah.
from the most recent one going back. And more than once, when I've cased a route or carried a route on my day off that wasn't my own, I'd go look at that pink card just to kind of check and see if there were any recent forwards that were on it. So you mentioned like for a CCA or a PTF that might have like a hold down a week when someone's on vacation, or maybe even a long term hold down.
Yeah.
You can go look at those pink cards to see if there's any recent forwards. You may desire to make yourself an alert card for that week so that you're doing the forwarding, those 5, 6 days until the regular comes back. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why we want to be putting those little stickers on that pink card.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know this is not a route adjustment grievance, but or not a route adjustment episode, but it all that's time that you get on your route if you're the regular to put those forwards on that change of address form, that 3982. That's time that you get in the office. So if you wait and you let those pile up and you throw them into a half tray or you just throw them into your shelf or wherever you put them, and you wait to get your route inspected and you do them all while you're getting your route inspected, do you think they're going to give you all of that time?
Probably not.
No, because that's not something you do on a day to day basis. But let's say you get three or four a day. I mean, and I know that's kind of heavy, even probably for some routes. It's going to take you what, maybe 2, 3 minutes if you're actually reading those, if you're actually trying to memorize them or um, remember those, if you're even filling out change it or the alert cards, it's going to take you 2 to 3 minutes. So if you do that, you're going to get that time. We did a route count and inspection episode back in August of 2024. So there is a route count and inspection episode on this podcast if you guys want to refer to that. I'll try to put that into the description so you don't have to search for it. But
Well, to touch on something you said real quick for me to jump in here, about us taking the time to do it, we get the time to do it. So many times I'll see someone, either a floater or a CCA that's not the regular on the route, and they'll go up and they'll case it, and they're done in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes or something. And
yeah,
even if there's not a lot of volume, they're rolling up there, they're throwing all the stuff up, pulling it down real fast, and they're not even paying attention or if there are any new forwards for the day to put in. They're not paying attention to the vacation holds, which I'm sure you'll get to, that are a lot of times they're there next to the case.
yeah,
And if on your day off, or if you're a floater or a CCA or something, and you're doing a route, take those few extra minutes to put that effort in. Kind of treat it as if it's your own route for that day, which, I mean, it basically is. You're the, letter carrier on that route on that day. And so do these things. Don't leave it for somebody else to do. And when you get in the habit of doing it, it really becomes easy. It might be kind of a pain at first, but just make that part of your normal flow. And then when route inspections do come, if they happen to look at your times as being a CCA on a hold down or a floater, maybe they'll have you carry one route, for the whole week because the regular's been out for so many months. The route's going to be treated properly come inspection time. Because what you don't want to happen is somebody skip these steps that Casey's going to talk more about some of these other things, some of these duties, and then management evaluates and bases the route times off of it, because then in the future, if you or someone else ever decides they need to take the time to do this stuff, you're not going to have the time available according to, you know, the projections management's going to give you. And it's just going to lead to a contentious interaction day after day after day. So kind of do yourself and the route a favor by, keeping up those forwards and some of these things. So they'll just help everybody involved.
yeah, yeah, and like what Eric said, if you're filling in on that route, like I mentioned, I've been doing these NERP trainings for the whole month of July, so I haven't been on my route. I hope that someone's been doing my change of address stickers while I've been gone. But if I'm off for a day, I was a T6 for a long time, for I think 6 years. If I was on a route, I knew all of my regular carriers, so I knew if they wanted me to do those stickers or not. So if I'm only doing it for that one day, some of my regulars wanted to look at those stickers, but I would still look at them as a T6 and I would set them there neatly so that they can do it whenever they get back. And I think that's okay. But if they're gone for a whole month, you wouldn't want them to sit there the whole time.
Yeah.
So kind of use your best judgment there. If you're a CCA on a long term hold, you probably need to learn how to do this so they're not piling up. It's your route while you have that hold. So it's something to keep in mind. You mentioned the customer holds. That's something else that I think is, whenever we talk about route maintenance in the office, that's another big one. I know my route, there's only been, since I've been on the route, which has been over a year now, there's only been 2 days that I've carried it where there has not been a customer hold.
Yeah.
So I have quite a bit. And I don't know what the reason is for that, but they could get kind of messy if you don't keep up with them. You should be looking at those regularly, at least once a week. Go through it, make sure that all the mail in that tub or in that slot or wherever you're keeping those customer holds, make sure that it's all the correct address and it's for the correct name. You will definitely want to go through that stuff. And that's stuff we're allowed to do to verify your customer hold. You want to verify the date that it goes back. So you definitely want to keep either um, that left the
Oh, what's that called?
3571,
Maybe. Yeah.
the curtailment slip. You want to leave that on there, or you make a copy of the customer hold. That's something that I know is acceptable in a lot of areas.
Hold on. Now, would you? No. Here's a good discussion. Would you fill out a curtailment slip for vacation hold mail if you have it properly labeled? Because what I do is I'll take a copy of the hold request, or I'll take the hold request, I'll make a copy of it, and then I'll take that copy to either the tub or like I got a little white stand next to my coffin that's got shelves in it, and I'll tape it to each shelf depending on which one it is. Is that sufficient, or would I need to leave a curtailment slip?
I think it's just different in whatever part of the country you're in. So a lot of people they need that. I think it's a 3571 uh, to curtail that.
Well, Casey just Googled it and it pulled up computers and a diesel truck and underwear. So I don't think that's what the slip
Yeah,
is.
that's not it. Um,
There's a lot of
so
numbers on a lot of these forms. I was talking to Ken, our union president, the other day. I was like, man, how long will it take me until I got all these memorized? Because I'm still having trouble. Shoot, just the other day, I was trying to think of the 1260 and I couldn't think of the number. And I was like describing it. I was like, the time card slip. He said it could take a long time to get them all down pat. There's just so many of them for one person to have them all committed to memory. That's not reasonable. I think
but
Casey found it.
no,
Oh, you didn't?
I'm
Okay.
I'm pretty certain it's a 3571. I could be wrong. Um,
Anyway, I was just
I'll
curious on
figure
your
it out.
thoughts if we need to be doing that or if that's just optional or
It's I think it's different in different parts of the country. If you're leaving mail at your case, you probably want to CYA. Make sure you're putting that form there. Um, but that's exactly what I do. Is I 1571.
there you
So
go.
I was close. 1571 is the curtailment slip. It's about the size of a third of a sheet of paper if you fold it, what, hamburger style.
Okay.
So um, you fill that out and you put it with any mail that you're leaving at your case. And that's just kind of a CYA. But I do exactly what you're talking about. I make copies of the actual vacation hold and I tape that to the tub that I put it in, or I just rubber band it to all the mail so everybody knows that's what it's for. But you definitely want to verify that mail, like I said, at least once a week, that that's the correct mail that you're holding, because you don't want to have a month long customer hold, because that's the maximum amount of time they can hold it, right? 30 days.
Yeah.
So you don't want to hold it for a entire 30 days and not once check that mail.
Yeah, because maybe on
'Cause-
your day off on week one, somebody that cased you out or carried you out on your day off, or if you were at a doctor's appointment, what if they accidentally throw a credit card bill for a totally different address by accident into that tub or into that shelf?
Yeah.
And so then 2, 3 more weeks are going to go by. That's not getting delivered. And then when you finally do deliver the vacation hold, what's the customer going to think when they get somebody else's credit card bill?
Yeah. They're going
Right?
to think their mail was misdelivered too.
Exactly. And they're
So
probably not going to pay that bill. So,
it's important. And we all make mistakes. We're human. So if like 100 Main Street is your hold and you have like 100 First Street you accidentally put in that tub, that's a simple mistake to
yeah.
make. They might be next to each other on the case or one row off and you just accidentally put that in there. So make sure you verify your customer holds and then double check those dates that they're supposed to go back. If you're supposed to deliver it or if they're coming to pick it up, but make sure you're looking at your customer holds.
Yeah. And the thing you said about CYA for this, I have seen multiple cases in the last few months where I'm casing it for overtime or whatever, and I go over and look to my left, and there's multiple bundles of mail that aren't endorsed. And I look at them, and they're all the same address. But I'm left to wonder, okay, is that a vacation hold? Is this a moved, left no address type situation? Is this a dog hold? And so that's why if you're the fill-in on the route, be a hold down or just doing it on your day off or casing for overtime, that you pay attention to these things and that you properly label that mail. Because if somebody comes along, let's say if they did an audit the next day, which they do from time to time,
Yeah.
and then they look at that route and there's multiple bundles of mail that aren't endorsed, no, label or anything, stating what it's there for, you know, hopefully your supervisor would be like, oh yeah, that's the vacation hold that Joe does, you know, for that customer. But what if they don't? You know, what if they're held to account for this mail that's just sitting there rubber banded? And then what if they throw you under the bus and say, oh, Casey's delaying the mail? You're just going to, I mean, you'll eventually be able to explain it, right? Maybe
Yeah.
you'll say, well, here's the dog letter. You know, it was in my route book. I just didn't have it labeled correctly. Here, let's print off the customer hold thing. You know, here that verifies what it is. But do you really want that headache? I don't.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so just
I,
avoid the whole mess and just have it labeled properly, one way or the other, whether it's the curtailment slip or even writing it on one of those little cards that come out of the end of the DPS trays and just taping that to it. You put the
yeah.
date that it starts, you put the date it ends, you put the address, and then a brief description. Dog hold, vacation hold, hold for forward, HFF. You know, there's a bunch of acronyms you can use too that can easily be interpreted so that no one's going to accuse you of not delivering mail.
Yeah. And after you've been a regular for a long time, I know, I'm going on 9 years at the post office, so I still endorse all my stuff because of CYA, what I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You don't want someone going to your case and accusing you of delaying mail for whatever reason. So if it's because of a closed business, put it on there. If it's because of an animal attack, put it on there. If it's because of you're holding for order, put it on there. So it's very important that you endorse your mail. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Um, so what else? I mean, you talked about move left, no forwards, but I kind of want to do that on street since we're going to talk about
Okay.
it
Yeah, we'll talk about that
in the
here.
scanner. Um,
What else we got in the office? You talked about review, change addresses, pink cards. Um,
we're kind of going, I'm just kind of scrolling through the M41, and I don't want to get super in depth about this, but it even talks about, and I go through this whenever I train someone for the very first time, whenever I'm doing OJI, it tells you how to train people on casing the route. So to put things in shelf, like by shelf, you organize it by shelf on the ledge, and then you give that to them to case one shelf at a time. It tells you down to like how to case letters. So it tells you to put it uh, face down with the address facing the right on the left side of your case ledge, and then it tells you how to pick it up by your left hand and push the first letter up with your thumb. Like it's very detailed on how to case mail.
oh
So
wow, I never knew that.
yeah, there's a picture of how to put your letter mail on the ledge. So
What if you're left-handed?
this was written a long time ago. Uh, we joke around. This is a right-handed world, so uh, I'm sorry if you're left-handed. It doesn't tell us how to case left-handed.
Get to be the
uh,
clerk. That's what it says. So
but yeah, look through all this stuff. It tells you how to case mail. It tells us how to do our job the right way. So kind of we briefly touched on it earlier. Whenever they're doing route count and inspections, this is useful information. It tells you what order to case things in. So look through it all. Chapter 2 on office duties. Um, let's talk about edit book. That's something you do in the office,
yeah,
and that's kind of huge whenever adjusting your route. So or maintaining your route is your edit book. There's a lot of things you can do in your edit book, and wouldn't you know, we have an episode about edit books, all about edit books, everything you need to know about it. Eric Bew, our vice president, did an episode on December 31st. It is in there. It's titled Edit Books. Um, if you need to know anything about edit books, go check that episode out. But it's very important. If you're a regular on your route, if you don't like the size of your cells, you can change that. If you don't like that it doesn't have where your relay points are, where your park points are, you can put that in your edit book. If you don't like that there's not enough space so that you can case your spurs, which you should be doing, you can change that. So you can do all kinds of stuff in your edit book
why should you case your Spurs, Casey?
because spurs are counted as flats and you case your flats in the office. You get credit for it.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So we're getting into that route count inspection stuff. 18, 8, and 70 is what our standard is for casing mail. If you're shorting yourself on that, you're hurting your route. You're hurting yourself and you're cutting time. You should case your spurs. So I know I case all of my spurs, and I've been working on expanding my cells where I get more spurs. You can have those half-inch cells where you get two addresses in one divider, so one cell. Those are half inch. Or you can have one address in one inch, and they can get even bigger than that. You can 5, 6, 7 inches if you want. It just depends on how much mail that slot gets.
Me and a buddy were talking about this the other day because I had commented I had to visit another station, so I was going to be late getting to my office. So they had another carrier case my route for me. And, I get to the station, I grab my cart, push it out to load, all that. And as I'm putting the tray of flats in, I immediately noticed he had cased in my spurs for me. And that really made my day a lot easier. But me and a buddy were talking about it, and he's like, I don't like doing that because when you got bulky items or like when you got bags that have medicine in them, he's like, you're walking down the street and they're all kind of sloshing around and they fall out and stuff. And I had a very simple solution for that. I was like, okay, don't case those couple. You
Yeah.
can still case all the other ones that are, let's say 2 inches or less. You always in your spurs are going to have at least a third, maybe half of them, maybe more that are going to be easily caseable. And so, one, that's going to save you time at your relay points. It's going to make it a little bit easier because you already have 25% of your scannable items that are spurs cased in. So
Yeah.
they're right there for you.
Yeah, it helps a lot whenever you get out on your route. Of course, I was always mindful, and I'm still mindful. If I'm walking, like you're saying, I might not case up 100% of the spurs. I might only case up the ones that are extremely flat. But I still put those spurs in order in the office because I get time for that.
Yeah.
That's not something you should be doing on the street. So if you're 100% mounted or 100% businesses, um, personally, I case those 100% of my spurs up for those sections because I'm not carrying it. I don't have to worry about it falling all over the place.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll use 7, 8, 9 flats trays before I'm pulling spurs out of a tub or a tray when I don't have to. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, if
And
you haven't tried it before, just try it tomorrow or, the day after you listen to this.
yeah,
You just see what happens. I mean, worst case scenario, it's going to take you longer on your route and you make a little extra money.
yeah,
Best case scenario, you might enjoy it. It might be more efficient. It might help you throughout your day.
yeah. Um, it does help. I've done it with and without, and it helps dramatically. So if you don't case it, you get time to put it in order, delivery order, in the office. That does not mean I'm throwing it into tubs in whatever section they are. That means I'm putting them in delivery order. So there's a difference, and we get time for it, and we should be doing it. So that's just another thing. Edit books are very important. Um, Very in depth things you can do with your edit book. You can request new case labels. You don't have to make any changes to your route. If your labels look like crap, they're falling off, they've got marks all over them, after you come back from vacation and someone marked all over your case labels and you don't like it, you can request new ones in your edit book. You don't have to make any changes at all, which you should not be marking on your case labels. Anything that you put on your case labels, you can do in your edit book.
Yeah.
If you want it to say closed on Saturday, you can do that. If you want it to say the business name, you can do that. Um,
And
I,
here's the thing, if you don't know how to do this, because I'm even a little foggy on some aspects of, the edit book features, ask somebody. Go grab your steward.
yeah,
Go grab the station manager. Go grab both of them. Grab a senior carrier. Grab all four of them. Whatever it
talk to your
takes.
mentor,
There you go. Talk to your mentor.
but someone should know. And if not, we have an episode for
Yes.
that. A lot of people don't know you can put your park points in your edit book. It shows up, I think, as a blue line on your case labels. If you put your relays in there, it shows up as a red line, and it even shows you how many delivery points are in those relays. Like it's amazing the things you can do on your case labels through your edit book.
Yeah. And this is really stuff that management should be teaching us all.
I wish they did.
Yeah.
There is training for edit books, but they do it briefly in Carrier Academy, and I think we all know as a CCA, edit books are the last thing you're worried about.
Well, yeah, you're still trying to figure out how to put on your name badge, and they're going in depth, briefly in depth about the edit book. You aren't going to remember any of that.
Yeah. So that's
Hold on, sleepers. Looking for sleepers.
sleepers.
What's the
So
sleeper?
sleepers. That's whenever you pull down your entire route. So you've cased up all of your letters, your flats, your spurs, and now you're pulling down your route. You're rubber banding it, putting it in your flats tray. You've got it all down, and you look at your case, and you're looking in every one of the dividers to see if there's any mail left that you might have missed whenever you were pulling down. If you missed one, it's kind of in the back of the case and it's hard to see. Those are called sleepers. So you definitely want to look for those. That's all in the M41.
Yes.
How how to do everything. Um, like I said, it's pretty in depth on how to. It like I said, it tells you how to push up the first letter whenever you're casing letters with your thumb.
Push the top letter slightly forward with the left thumb so that the right thumb and index finger can grasp the outer edge of letter. The left thumb serves as a feeder. So it's a little dry. Um, what's that fellow's name? The Clear Eyes Drive, Eugene
Oh,
something.
I know you're
You know what
talking
I'm
about.
talking about? Yeah, the
Yeah,
American Pie Dad.
yeah,
Anyway, I can picture him reading this, but if you don't have him available to read it to you, maybe crack it open every now and then and just read a small section. That right there may not be particularly helpful, but there is other stuff in there, such as checking for sleepers, which is something. Again, I'll case a route for overtime, and I hate to say it, but quite often I'll see sleepers in there. And it's
yeah,
like, dude, if any member of management ever decides to start caring about that, you're going to get in trouble. And so let's not get in trouble and let's cover our CYA. There we go.
yep.
And just check them.
Yeah, it's stuff that is part of our job. It helps maintain the route too that we're delivering every piece every day. So
Yeah.
it could have been something important. So I think that's all that I can think of
Now it's
off the
time for
top of my
street
head.
duties.
So let's move to the street. I know we might have missed something, but that's the general, right? I think we
Yeah.
covered everything in the office. So moving to the street, what's the first thing you think of about maintaining your route on the street?
I think of M41, 122.
Oh, okay. So 122 talks about street duties.
Yeah.
For me, the first thing I think about, and I think what most people think about, is apartments, right?
Yes.
And how much of a mess that those can be. And if we wanted to expand on that, we could even go further to residential mailboxes. They could pile up sometimes. You could get those customers that are like just constantly telling you this person doesn't live here, and you can't figure out who lives there if you're not the regular on the route for a very long time. So what's something that we can do to kind of clean those up?
Well, you mentioned that the first thing you'll think about when it comes to talking about route maintenance is apartments.
Yeah.
Because, think of a route in your station where the maintenance isn't done very well. And immediately, what you're going to think about? You're going to think about stuffed boxes at some apartment complex, doors hanging off the hinge, and the name hasn't been updated since, 1983 by Vincent
Yeah.
Sombrado himself,
You,
and it's just a train wreck.
and I think mailboxes are magical places because those apartment mailboxes are what, like 5.5 by 4 inches? And you can fit like 2 tubs of mail in those things, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't let that be your route. Don't do that because it's a disservice to the sender
Yeah.
because they paid postage to have that delivered, and then that person hasn't lived there in a while. Maybe it's a vacant apartment. Casey, how do you
You-
find out if the boxes at our apartment are vacant? What's a good way
Well,
to find that out?
I was actually, there's multiple ways you can find this out. Um, I'm going to bring this up. You guys can't see, but Eric is wearing a food drive T-shirt right now. So the food drive was in May, right?
I haven't
And
taken it off since.
we had to we had to deliver, and I know this isn't nationwide, but here in Oklahoma City, we delivered cards the week of, letting them know about the food drive, and then we also delivered plastic sacks. I know that some places do the paper bags, and it's different everywhere. But let's say that you live in a city that delivers those things. If I'm going out on my route now, July 29th, and I see a plastic sack from the food drive in there, I think I can deduce that it's vacant,
Yeah.
right? Or they just don't check their mail. But if you're having a hard time shoving mail into a box, it's probably vacant. Um, you can check with the apartments, with the managers, and you can have them give you an updated rent roll. So there's rules on that, on when you can get that, where you can put that. You can't change the names on it. So there's stuff about that. It's in the M41. So you can request that from the office.
Yeah.
So
Once a month, I ask for a new rent roll,
yeah,
and
and if
they're so used to giving it to me. A lot of times, I don't even have to ask.
yeah,
They just know at the beginning of the month, Eric wants a new rent roll.
yeah, if you get friendly with your apartment management, sometimes they'll just tell you. You're like, hey, apartment 1A, they moved out, so it's vacant now. Or hey, someone moved in to 1A, their name is Smith. So get familiar with your apartment management. But yeah, if you're having trouble fitting mail into a box, it's more than likely vacant.
Yeah, and if you don't know, what you do is you pull all the mail out the box that's almost completely full. Um, rubber band it up, label it, hold for forward, and you
Hmm.
wait 10 days, put a date on it, initial it, so they know who did all that. That
Yep.
way, when it's at your case or in a tub, someone can identify it. But then what happens is a lot of times I'll put a slip and put a vacant card inside that box in case it's not vacant, in case the customer does decide to check their mail. And I write on there, the date, box was full, holding mail for 10 days, then it'll be returned to sender. And once again, if you're still unsure if it's vacant, I believe it tells you in the M41, you start putting the mail in there again. And then if you get to the point where you can't put more in, I haven't read it in a
Yeah,
long
it
time, it's
it
like that.
mentions that. Yeah.
Yeah, then you pull it again and you keep doing that process. I have had some people, after twice of me doing that, call the post office, hey, I don't have any mail and I got this thing that's in here. They don't know that for the last 7 weeks I've been, sending their stuff back,
Yeah.
but you want to give them the opportunity by putting another slip in there, letting them know, hey, we've pulled your mail, it'll be returned.
Yeah, and I know those vacant cards, they make those hard to see, right? They're not like bright colors or anything.
Well, they got green ones too,
Big
but
bold
either way you
vacant
can see
letters
them.
on
Yeah.
there. But there's some other information on there, and it's for the residents if they move in or you have pulled their mail and they pull it out of there, they read it, and it says like fill out your names for this address and then put it back in the outgoing slot, and the letter carrier will update your name and stuff like
A
that.
lot of times I'll
So
circle the part that says names, or I'll do
yeah,
like a little star next to it, so it draws their attention to it a little bit easier.
yeah. So as a carrier, if you see those vacant cards in mailboxes, they're there for a reason. They're important. So don't put mail on top of it. You don't want to cover it up with a an advo or a newspaper or whatever your weekly or monthly mailings are, your third bundles, because then carriers behind you can't see that vacant card, and then it fills up again, and we got to repeat the process.
Yeah,
So
and unless you do see it's a note that's saying your box is full, we pulled it, return within 10 days. Unless you see that, if there's a vacant card left by the, regular carrier, then yeah, it's more likely not vacant.
yeah. So how about residential houses? How can we tell if those are vacant?
Well, a lot of times, you pick up a hold down on a route and then you're on the first day out there and you see a box that's overflowing with mail and the grass has grown up and there's maybe no cars in the driveway. And you can kind of take a peek at the house. Maybe there's a for rent sign in the front yard. Don't keep adding to that pile in the box. Pull all that mail out, put a vacant card in there. If you don't have a vacant card on you, make yourself a little note so that when you get back to the station, you can pull a vacant card and put a notation on there for the address. So that the next day,
Yeah, and go ahead and case it up in the PM.
exactly.
It's already there.
Yes. Because once again, it's, there's not really a customer that's being hurt by that, right?
No.
The sender, they're the ones being harmed by it.
Oh, yeah,
When we just
you're
pack
right.
that mail, yeah, that's what I meant. Maybe I should clarify. If you just pack that mail in a box, somebody could have mailed a birthday card and maybe grandma put the wrong address. Well, 3 months go by and you're just continuing to pack it on top of it. Grandma deserves to have that card back so she can get it to whoever it's supposed to go to. And so I'm not trying to jump on anybody that's maybe not doing some of this stuff. I know management a lot of times will pressure us into trying to get done faster or trying to cut corners in order to meet some fictitious number that DOIS or PET or one of their other programs spits out at you. And so I'm not trying to jump on anybody, that's trying to get the heat off of them. But the fact is, we have to do this stuff. Service matters, on our badge, United States Postal Service. And then when you maintain the route, maybe it'll take you a couple days, maybe it'll take you a couple weeks, maybe it'll take you a month to clean all this stuff up on your route, apartment boxes, residential boxes, or maybe crammed full of mail or whatnot. Once you get that done, it's going to be so much more pleasant when you're delivering those spots.
Oh, yeah, and it's easier to deliver those spots.
Yeah, and let's say you have someone that moved out and they moved out. Like maybe they even saw you. Hey, Joe, yeah, we're moving out tomorrow. Hey, buddy, put a forward in. Sure will. You hold the mail for 10 days, no forward comes in. On the scanner, there's a feature. If you go to your settings and you scroll down, and it's move left no address. You select that, and it is super easy. Instead of having to do the form 3575Z, which is the move left no address form, on our scanner now it has this feature. So virtually all mail nowadays have some form of a barcode on it. Kind of like the please scan flats and letters thing has you scan that little thin barcode. So when you go in the scanner, go to settings, scroll down, it's towards the bottom, move left no address. You tap it, it pops up and it has you scan the letter. When you scan it, it'll pre-populate the address that it's for, so you don't have to type that in. And then it gives you an option, individual or family. So if you pick individual, it'll then prompt you to type in the first and last name of that piece of mail to somebody that doesn't live there. Maybe it's somebody who hadn't lived there for 3 years. The current resident, even writes on there, they haven't lived in here in a decade.
Yeah, they don't
Hey,
not ever live here.
that too, they don't not ever live here. So take that piece of mail, stop right there in their yard or at the end of the driveway or whatever the case, go to settings on your scanner, scroll down to the move left no address, and handle it right there. You can do it in less than 60 seconds. And if there's multiple individuals at that address that are getting mail, instead of doing it for each one of them, you can also pick the option that says family. So the people that currently live there, maybe their last name is Gonzalez, and you keep getting mail for Smith, and there's no Smith that gets mail here, but you got a Jenny, a Jim, and a George. Instead of doing three different ones, just pick family for that option,
Hmm.
and then all you have to do is type in Smith. So any mail in the future, and give it a day or two once it gets processed, it'll spit out a white slip at your case. Management will come give it to you. It looks like a forward, but it's not.
Yeah.
Um, from that point forward, the DPS sorting place, that mail gets pulled out. Now, I still see some that come through occasionally, but by and large, when I fill that out on the scanner, within a couple days, all mail for that address that has the last name Smith stops coming in.
Yeah.
So, guess what? Now the customer is not getting the wrong mail. The sender to these people named Smith, they're getting mail sent back to them if it's first class or one of the special classes that they pay for return service, electronic service, one of those. And then three, it's also going to make it easier for you when you deliver. Because now when you go to that house, instead of having to pull two or three pieces of mail out of what they're getting because Smith doesn't live there, it's not coming to you at all. It's getting stopped at the sorting facility.
Yeah, they return it to the sender for you,
Yeah,
so you don't have to do it. But
it's a cool feature
I,
that a lot of people that I run into don't know about, and I use it all the time. And it's slowly cleaning up my route where I'm not
Yeah.
getting as many of these names, especially at apartments.
Well, and it helps too, especially at apartments. Like, for example, me, I've been off my route for a month. If I've been doing those move left, no forwards, as I know for sure those people are not in those apartments, it's probably going to help whenever I go back, and there's not going to be full mailboxes. If you cycle out those names that aren't living there, they don't get that mail anymore. So it's not going to be delivered by someone that doesn't know the route as good as I do. So it's very important. I would caution you in using that. Make sure that they're not living there if you're using it. if
Oh,
you're
yes, absolutely.
So it does ask you whenever you do it, have you held this mail for 10 days? And you have to answer it yes or no. If you say no, it's just going to go back to the main screen because you haven't done what you're required to do to fill out a move left, no forward. So you have to hold it for 10 days to make sure that no forwards come in for that name first. So make sure you're doing that and you're doing it only for people you know for sure don't live there anymore.
Yes.
So very good. Um, that's the biggest thing on the street, maintaining a route.
You know what? Let me tell you another thing I've started doing, which nobody's ever told me I can't do it. So until they do, I'm going to keep doing it. If I have that scenario where new people move in, they're saying, "Hey, this mail ain't mine," um, or if it's a rental house where you get a lot of turnover, which I got a couple of those on my route, those little plastic sleeves that you put
Yeah.
in the apartment box, they got the sticky stuff on the back.
Hmm.
I'll put those in a residential mailbox, like in the lid, to where when you open it, it's right there staring you in the face. I'll take one of those cards from the DPS tray off the end of it that's got your route number and it says ABCD or whatever. You flip that around, and I'll write the address on there. I'll stick that in that residential box, and then when I run into the customer, or if I leave them a note in the mailbox, saying please fill out, list what names are to be delivered, I'll then put those last names on that slip.
Yeah.
And I've done that. I probably got 5 or 6 houses on my route right now that have those little sleeves in there, and that's helped a lot too. With me understanding who's supposed to get mail there, and then the CCA that may put the hold down when I'm on vacation, my T6. It's helping everybody out, and you're not coming back to a mess when you return.
Yeah. I think that's what those sleeves are designed for.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should get in trouble for that. That's what they're for.
Well, I've never heard. I know you use them for apartments, but somebody made a comment to me. Another carrier kind of rolled their eyes, like, "Really, you're putting those in residential boxes?" I'm like, "Yeah. Hopefully, within a couple of years, every one of my residential boxes will have those. Everybody's getting the right mail. It only takes you a couple of seconds each time you do it. So I'm not
Yep.
advising you to request 4 hours of overtime and label your whole route. But if each day, if you spend 3, 4, 5 minutes and nail a couple, knock a couple of them out, eventually you will have your whole route. You don't have to do that, but that's my goal for my route, and I'm slowly working on it. I probably do like one a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can do it as people move in. Uh, you
That's
know,
kind of
that,
how it's happening. I
that's kind of a
guess. Yeah.
good spot to do that in. Hey, who's everybody that lives here? Can you put their names on this for me or tell me and I'll fill it out? So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But since we're talking about vacant houses, we discussed edit books earlier in the office. That's a good time whenever you know a house is vacant. If you know the people are moving out, or you know for sure you've held the mail and it is vacant. Like you can see the windows are boarded up, or you can see all the way through the house, no one's in it. Like you know it's vacant. You can write vacant in your edit book. And have you ever noticed whenever you get a third bundle, you might be going along and you have a third bundle for every single address on your route, and then you get to a house and it throws you off because they didn't get it, and the next house does,
It's
and
because in the edit book,
now
it's
you're off
labeled as vacant.
because in the edit book someone labeled it as vacant, and it might not be updated, so it might be vacant from 6, 7, 8 years ago. It's not going to change if someone mails a first class letter to that vacant house; they're still going to get it, but it does affect your EDDM, your every door direct mail. It does change the amount of mail you get for your third bundle. So if you have like advos that are not addressed, and at the end of your route you run out before you get to the end, it's because you have too many vacants.
Yeah.
If you'd have way more than you need. It's because you have vacants and they're not marked in your book. So you're not going to get it perfect every time because I'm sure there's a variance that those companies get. They give you so much percentage more than you have, but you're going to get closer if you actually keep up with your vacants. So put that in your edit book. There's a spot. You use a red pen whenever you do edit books, and you just put a little V next to the address in the V column, V for vacant. If they're not vacant, you just cross out the V. And when you send your edit book in, they'll delete it, and now it's not vacant anymore. So,
Yeah, if messing with your edit book intimidates you, this is a great place to start because it is super easy.
yeah, yeah, it's just one little mark. And um, I know it can be intimidating, oh, I got to write down all my vacant houses. You don't have to do it all in one day. You can do it little by little. I'm going to do the first hour of my route today. And you might do it on Saturdays. Maybe you have closed businesses on Saturdays and you got a little extra time. You do it on Saturdays. If you got a light mail volume day, do it on that day. But do it a little at a time and keep up with it. Something I just thought about, back to office real quick. I know here in Oklahoma City, everywhere I've been, we have these bars that we put in the case in the separations,
Oh.
and they're all different colors. There's green, there's blue, there's red, yellow, black. There's all different color bars, and they're L shaped. You put them in the slot. If there's a vacant, I know here vacant is green at my office. Is it green in yours for vacant?
I think we use green for when they're on vacation.
See, we use blue for vacation. So whatever it is, make sure it's uniform for your office.
Yeah, I put the black one in there when I got a grumpy customer.
Oh yeah,
No,
I
no.
would put red. Red warning. So we use red for if there's a dog, like a dog warning card or uh, a warning of some kind. We use red. I know yellow for a while we used for like if there's closed Monday businesses, which you don't have a lot of. Black I used for closed Saturdays. Blue was always vacation hold. Green was always vacant houses. So
So is this just something we do in Oklahoma City, or is that in a handbook and manual somewhere?
I have not seen it in a handbook and manual.
This
If
would
it,
be a good one for Alan Gigax.
yeah,
Alan, if you're
Alan,
listening, figure this out and let us know.
someone tell Alan. So, yeah, that's a good idea. I do that on my route, and it works out very well because if you go to case up a letter and there's a bar in there, and like I said, I know green is vacant on my route. If there's a green bar there, I know it's vacant, so I can go ahead and fill out my first class mail in the office, put a V on it for vacant, or you can put it in that vacant slot in the bottom right hand corner of your case, and you know that that's a vacant mail you got to send back. If it's a UBBM, you can throw it in your UBBM and move on. So another good practice of maintaining your route, both on the street and in the office.
Yep.
So we're sitting at about an hour. Can you think of anything else on the street to maintain your route?
Um, Not really. I mean, there probably is, but I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just being organized. Really, is what it all boils down to. Is being organized. If there's mail sitting at your case, make sure it's endorsed. Um, double check your customer holds. The edit book is a big one. I mean, that's the biggest way that you can help maintain your route. So check out that episode if you haven't listened to it. December 31st. I'll put that in the description as well. So I think that's it. You got anything for closing? Closing us
and
out?
final thought, closing argument. Since it's coming up on August and we're all figuratively dying from the heat, I don't want anyone to literally die from the heat. So just be looking out for your new people. Don't underestimate it. Even if you're someone that's been carrying mail for 30 years and you're listening to this, each year's different. Your body's different. And so just really take care of your electrolytes and take the time to cool off if you start getting too warm. Don't worry about the numbers. I've been telling my carriers, hey, we have till midnight every day to deliver the mail. The mail's not going to spoil. And the reason why I
Yeah.
say we have till midnight every day, because midnight 01, it's a new day.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, literally, it just, it takes what it takes. And if you're hot and you're not feeling well, maybe you should have probably took a cooling break a little bit sooner so you didn't get to that point.
Yeah.
So everybody just really be careful. I guess that's probably my final thought. You got anything?
Yeah, and just with that, make sure you're taking your breaks. We get contractually, we get 2 10-minute breaks, and we get one 30-minute lunch. Spread them out throughout your day. We can't take them in conjunction with each other. It's hot. If you need more breaks than that, take more breaks than that. Uh,
What if I'm running behind though?
it doesn't matter.
Oh,
It As a steward, I would rather defend someone's discipline than to try to explain how we could have done something different. Like if they're injured, or I mean, I don't even want to think about something worse than that. But I would rather discipline defend that than something else. So
and it would be super easy to defend if that's what's going on. It's like, hey, why were you taking so long on this day or that day? I was cooling off
yeah, probably because it was 100. I know
five.
in Oklahoma, I just got out of my truck right before I got here, and the thermometer said 103. And that's who knows if that's the real feel or not. The real feel might be 100, 110 plus. So with the heat index. So there is an app. OSHA has an app you can look at. It'll tell you what risk you're in whenever you're out there carrying. I think it's just called the Heat app through OSHA. Eric's gonna check
Yeah,
it out
I
real
have
quick.
it on my phone.
But
It
it's got a gauge on there. As soon as you pull it up, it'll tell you if you're green, yellow, orange, or red. And of course, if you're red, that's extremely high risk. It'll tell you what the heat index is.
right now in Oklahoma City at 7 p.m. It's 101 is the heat index.
Yeah. So, and what's the shade it's in? Red
Yeah,
or
it's like deep red,
yeah.
five digit red.
So get these tools. Pay attention to them. I know some of the stuff that they put out is kind of cheesy and corny, and probably not even keeping us in mind, that take breaks when needed, when they're approved. Like they're all approved in my book. If you need it, take it.
Yes,
Um,
and maybe this doesn't apply to you. Maybe you're already doing this stuff. Man, look out for your fellow brothers and sisters. If you notice somebody that you just know that they're probably skipping breaks or you've heard them talk about not having enough time so they didn't get to take lunch, like really try to look out for them, pull them to the side and just, encourage them. You're like, hey, you know what? It's really hot today. If you're going to go over on your route, let management know that it's going to take you longer. And
yeah,
if they give you a hard time about it, tell them just say, you know what? I'll do my best today, boss. And then go about your day.
yeah,
Don't get sick from this. Don't get hurt. It's
no,
so dangerous right now. It really
yeah.
is.
And if you're helping someone, you're on the overtime list, and you go meet up someone later in the day, and you notice that they're not themselves, like they're normally like the life of the party, and they're dragging, they're sweating, or not sweating is even worse. Talk to them, see if they're okay before you leave them.
Yeah, forget about
Um,
the mail. At that moment, nothing else matters.
yeah, drag them into a gas station if you need to, into one of those beer coolers so they can cool off. That might be a little shock to bring them in there, but
That's why you're not a doctor.
so put them in AC at least. Get their feet up.
Now
Uh,
call somebody. Call your safety captain. Call your supervisor also. Let them know the situation. Be like, hey guys, yeah, I know we got like 4 splits of mail out here, but Casey was really looking bad. He told me he was queasy and he was a little foggy. I'm like, so yeah, we're not delivering mail right now. He
yeah,
jumped in my ProMaster, strapped him in, and we're driving to 7-Eleven. Maybe the supervisor wants to come out there and meet you to give him some help. I mean, so don't just go get it done. Like take care of each other.
yeah,
That's a fabulous final note.
yeah. So with that, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Um, can't wait to talk to you next time.
All right, bye.